So this is my rough and ready guide to adaptation in these corona times. Some of the things here are things for personal well-being, some for interpersonal well-being, and some for bigger picture and adapting and social change. So I'm sitting outside right now. This is where I live. So the first thing is about being local, and I mean, it's amazing that we've got all these resources to go online and to connect online. Actually, just being outside, being in the street, hanging out on the street. I had coffee in the street with some neighbours just up there the other day. We didn't know each other before. We've met through a mutual aid intervention, and yeah, being outside, sort of having your face known, so connecting with people that you might not have known before. It feels really important at these times to sort of stay local and resource ourselves locally. So one of my favourite things that I came across this year was this line from the film All the Things You Love That the Climate Cannot Change, by Josh Fox. And there's a woman there from an action centre in New York after Hurricane Sandy, and she's saying, offering a hand to those even though there's a hand pushing you down. And it just really reminds me of, you know, even when things are really tough, there's still people that we can help, there's still people that we can support, and that's what we need to do for our own well-being. So right now it feels like calling people up, speaking to people, just checking in on people feels really a doable step, and calling up more often feels really, really important. So even though we've got stress and pressures and anxiety and unknowing and all the uncertainty, that we can reach out to each other in the midst of all of that. Then another thing that was really helpful to me was to make a list of things that I can control, and make a list of things that I can't control, that are beyond my control. And that was really helpful for me. And let me show you what I've done here. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can turn it around. I'll show you here. I made a little list here of, on the left, things I can control. So there's things like I can control how much alcohol I drink while I'm in self-isolation, and I can control creating time for exercise. I can control my how I respond to my disappointment around particular things. Even though I can't control my son, I can control certain things in relation to him. So let me see if you can see it. Yeah, I can control, you know, me sticking to times. If I say let's do something at 5 o'clock, then I can control that I make an attempt to do something at 5 o'clock, even if, you know, he resists it, no matter how much he resists it. So that was really helpful for me to kind of take responsibility for the things I can control, and let go of my attachment to wanting to control things that are impossible for me to control. So I'm going to go over the park now, but while I go, hopefully there's less traffic now, so I won't get run over as I cross the road. Another thing that I've found it helpful is to keep trying to imagine what this pandemic is like for those who are the most vulnerable, and to do things like kind of Googling a homeless person charity or initiative to see kind of the impact, or to just kind of take a while just to take that imaginative, empathic leap into kind of trying to imagine what it must be like. Because I've heard that in prisons or in detention centres, because people are so kept closely together and eating together, you know, once one person gets the virus, it's just gonna spread really, really rapidly, and self-isolation is impossible. And also in places, I heard Dr. Michelle Barry the other day on Democracy Now! On Friday. I'll put the link at the bottom. It was a really, really good programme. She was saying, you know, in places in Africa where the tap is communal and everything is communal, that self-isolation just isn't possible. So just sort of considering what it's going to be like feels really, really important, just to expand your understanding of how this is affecting different people around the world. So back again. Oh, the sun's going down. It's really lovely. But another thing I'm finding it really helpful to do is to question what's happening and why it's happening. Even though we're all feeling really disoriented at the moment and it's profoundly unsettling, but on another level, this isn't coming out of the blue. We're such at odds with the planet and the intersection between humans and the environment that we're living in. And hang on, let me just cross over here. We're so out of balance, and some human activities have profoundly changed the environment that we're in and the habitat, and it's seriously impacting. So for example, deforestation has kind of limited the area that animals have to live in, and this virus is a spillover from animals because there's less space for animals, there's more urbanization, temperatures are rising. So it's really interesting to look that this hasn't come out of the blue. And on the other hand, nor has it come out of the blue that our NHS, our health system, is so overwhelmed, because that's been undermined over years and years. So, you know, we do need to kind of really look at the roots of this and consider how we can actually use this opportunity to change things and to reorient the economy, to reorient our activities, and to take more care. And this could be the beginning of a new way of governance, better way of working, better orientation, better use of our resources. It could be that we decide that having experienced less carbon dioxide emissions through all of the reduction in air travel, that actually this is really important, this is the way to go. It could be that we use the economy to make really essential medical equipment, and it could be that we decide that things like HS2, it could be things like 5G, we just don't need them. We just don't need them, and instead we can support zero-hour contract workers, those who are more vulnerable, those who we can see are needing the support now. So let's change the economy so that we are supporting them all the time. I really hope, this is my blue sky thinking, I really hope that we can do this, that we create a big change in things, and that this is a bit of a wake-up call. So this is actually why I've come over to the park right now, is to do some grounding and be in the park. I'm going to take my shoes and socks off and just stand here. I don't know if you can see. Underneath this amazing tree, this amazing ash tree, and stand against, looking at the sunset, stand against this amazing tree. And of course it's spring, isn't it? The sap is rising, so just staying here and being with the tree with my bare feet, feeling into the ground, and recuperating in the midst of all the self-isolation and having a bit of time in these amazing parks that we have. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon.